We're Ali and George from the Not the Top 20 podcast, and we're here at Sky Studios previewing the upcoming EFL season. Now we're going to be talking about the ups and downs from the Championship, the promotion and relegation, and who we think will be involved in those two battles. And George, we've got a prediction for the winner of the Championship this season. It's one of the relegated teams from last year's Premier Division.
Yeah, I think that one team from the relegated teams has proven to have the best summer by far, and that is Stoke. And I think they will go up as champions. Gary Rowett is a really interesting appointment. He's never really taken over a club with this kind of expectation before, but he's always overperformed, whether it was at Burton, whether it was at Birmingham, and then Derby as well. He'll make this team very, very solid indeed. But you look at the business that they did, and you see the fact they kept the likes of Joe Allen, Ryan Shawcross, Bruno Martins-Indy. You have to think this team is just better than the league, and it reminds me a bit of Newcastle a couple of years ago, where everything seems set for them to have a promotion campaign, and I think that they will go up as champions.
We definitely like teams that keep a solid defence throughout the season. I think under Tony Pulis you can be fairly confident that Middlesbrough fit that bill, certainly. We also think they've got good options going forward, and Adama Traore at this stage, staying at the club is going to be a key player for them going forward. But they've got other options as well. They've added Paddy McNair in midfield, who I think will strengthen them, give them a bit more going forward from that central midfield berth, which they lacked certainly in the playoff semi-finals last season. We just expect them to be better than last year, and last year a playoff team. This year we're saying automatic promotion for Tony Pulis and Middlesbrough. And for our third promotion pick, arguably a bit more of a long shot here, but a team that we feel pretty confident about in Brentford.
Yeah, every year me and you seem to tip up Brentford for promotion. This is going to be the year. I think that last summer couldn't really have gone worse for them. They lost some key players, mainly to Birmingham at the back end of the season. They had a terrible start, but at the back end of last season, one loss from their last 9 games. They've kept Ryan Woods, they've kept Chris Mepham, they've kept Ollie Watkins. At the moment, they can keep those 3 players together. And you have to give credit to the way Matthew Benham runs the club, the owner. Their recruitment is generally pretty incredible, picking up players for not much money from all around the world, and you have to expect the players they brought in this summer to be good again. I think they've consistently been one of the best teams in the league in the last couple of years, except for a couple of blips, and I think that if they can start well here, if they can get this right, this is going to be the year that we see Brentford finally get up to the Premier League. Now for teams who may be falling through the trapdoor down into League One, and there's a team that a certain Aaron Wilbraham saved at the back end of last season, but you think, or we think, that this may just be prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, last minute survival for Bolton last season, and huge credit has to go to Phil Parkinson for working wonders with what was a squad that realistically lacked quality, especially after the departure of Gary Medine in January. I look at the squad and I'm not seeing that they'll be much better this season, and that gives me cause for concern given how late on in the season they managed to attain survival. I just think Bolton are going to find it really tough this year, and I say it through gritted teeth because Parkinson is a manager that we like an awful lot, and they will be competitive in every game. I just think that they look a little bit short in terms of quality, both at the back, in midfield and up front. So slightly worried about them, and you are as well when it comes down to Reading.
Yeah, I've been worried about Reading for a long time now. I think they were very lucky to get to the playoffs when they did under Jaap Stam. The regression was inevitable, it happened. They replaced Stam with Paul Clement, who did keep them up, but I'm not convinced the performance has improved too much, and I don't think they've had a great summer again. They brought in Mark McNulty, who has to step up massively in order to score goals at that level. Sam Baldock looks like he's going to join as well, but where's the service going to come from? You can't just buy strikers and expect them to score straight away. They were porous at the back end of last season as well. I can't see why they're going to improve. I think that at the end of last season they were basically the worst team in the league, and if that continues, not only is Clement going to be coming under fire very early on, but they're going to be looking at a relegation scrap straight away. I'm pretty confident in thinking that Reading will be fighting for their lives, and I can't quite see them make it. Yeah,
and finally, Hull City, we're predicting for the drop this season. They were okay under Nigel Adkins last season, but were flirting with a relegation battle, but just about got out of it. This season, however, they've lost an awful amount of their starters from last year. Good players like Abel Hernandez, and also most of their back line too. They've brought in a couple of additions this summer, but nothing that really gets our juices flowing, I think it's fair to say. So I feel a little bit bad for Nigel Adkins. I don't think he's got a huge amount to work with, and with growing apathy off the pitch as well, it's going to be a difficult season for Hull, and we're predicting them to be relegated to League One at the end of this season.